Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Talks Hub. I'm Lily, and I'm so happy you are here with us today. Whether you are relaxing at home, riding the bus, or taking a quiet walk, thank you for spending this time practicing English with us.
Hello, everyone. It's always a great moment when we can learn English together.
Yes, it really is. And today's episode is a very special one.
That's right. Today's topic is called If You Can't Speak English, Watch This. This episode is especially for learners who feel stuck, learners who understand some English but feel nervous or unable to speak. Maybe you know many words. Maybe you understand videos or books, but when it's time to speak, the words don't come out. Your mind suddenly becomes quiet.
Yes, that moment can feel very frustrating. Many learners experience this problem, and if you feel this way, please know something very important. You are not alone. Millions of English learners around the world feel exactly the same way. Speaking a new language can feel scary sometimes, especially when you worry about making mistakes or when you feel shy speaking in front of others.
But today we want to show you something encouraging. Even if you feel like you cannot speak English right now, you are still learning. Your brain is still growing, and your speaking ability can improve step by step.
Before we begin, we want to remind everyone that this episode is designed for B1 level English learners. That means intermediate learners. We will speak clearly and naturally so you can understand and practice shadowing. If you are practicing shadowing, try repeating our sentences after you hear them. Copy the rhythm, pronunciation, and emotion. Shadowing is one of the best ways to build speaking confidence.
And if you enjoy learning with us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to English Talks Hub, and share it with friends who are learning English too. Your support helps our English learning community grow.
All right, Arthur, let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who studied English for a long time but still felt afraid to speak?
Oh yes.
Really?
Yes. Some learners have studied English for years. They know grammar, they know vocabulary, they can read books, they can watch movies, but when they try to speak, they feel nervous, or their mind becomes blank.
Exactly. Why do you think that happens?
I think one reason is fear of making mistakes.
Yes, that is very common. Many learners worry that their English is not perfect, but real conversations are never perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes every day.
That's very true. Another reason learners struggle with speaking is lack of practice. They study English, but they don't speak English regularly.
That's an important point. Language is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it becomes weak. But when you use it regularly, it becomes stronger.
So speaking practice is very important. Even small practice can make a big difference.
Let's imagine a learner named Daniel.
Okay,
Daniel studies English every day. He reads articles. He watches English videos. But he almost never speaks
why not?
because he feels embarrassed. He worries that his pronunciation sounds strange or that people might not understand him.
That situation happens to many learners. But the interesting thing is this. Daniel's English can improve quickly once he starts speaking regularly, even if his sentences are simple.
Yes, simple sentences are perfectly fine. For example, I am learning English, or I enjoy watching English videos. These sentences may seem small, but they are powerful steps. Every sentence builds speaking confidence.
Like building a small bridge.
Yes, a bridge between your thoughts and your voice. That is a beautiful way to describe language learning.
So if you are watching this episode because you feel like you cannot speak English, please don't give up. Your speaking ability is not missing. It is simply growing, like a seed under the soil. With time, practice, and patience, that seed becomes a strong tree, and your English voice will grow too.
So today we will talk about how learners can move from I can't speak English to I'm learning to speak English. We'll share ideas, examples, and simple strategies because speaking English is not magic. It's a skill that anyone can build, one conversation at a time.
So Lily, let me ask you something interesting.
Go ahead.
Why do some learners feel like they can understand English but still cannot speak it?
That is a very common situation for many language learners. I hear this question all the time. Someone might say, I understand English when I listen, Or they might say, I can read English articles, but then they add something that sounds very frustrating. They say, but I can't speak English.
That feeling can be very confusing because learners start wondering something like this. If I understand English, why can't I speak it?
Exactly. And one important reason is the difference between passive skills and active skills.
That is a very interesting idea. Can you explain that a little more? And that requires a different type of practice.
Yes, it does. Let me give a simple example. Imagine watching someone play the piano. You can listen to the music, you might understand the melody, but playing the piano yourself requires practice. Your fingers must move, your brain must coordinate with your hands. Speaking English works the same way. You must practice using your voice.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think many learners forget that simple sentences are actually the best place to begin.
Yes. Simple sentences help your brain organize ideas. For example, I like this video. I am practicing English. Today I studied English. These sentences are short, but they are extremely useful.
I once met a learner who said something very honest.
What did he say?
He said, "When I try to speak English, my brain feels slow."
That is a very honest description. Many learners experience that feeling. They understand English well when listening, but when they try to speak, their brain needs more time.
Because speaking requires many things at the same time.
Exactly. Your brain must choose words, your mouth must pronounce those words, and your mind must organize the sentence structure. All of this happens very quickly. At first, it can feel difficult, but with practice, it becomes easier. Your brain begins building new pathways, and speaking starts to feel more natural.
I think another big reason learners feel stuck is overthinking.
Oh, yes, overthinking is extremely common. Many learners try to build a perfect sentence before they speak. They worry about grammar, they worry about pronunciation, they worry about sounding strange.
And while they are thinking about all these things, the conversation continues.
Exactly. Then the learner feels even more nervous. But real conversations are not perfect. Native speakers pause, they correct themselves. Sometimes they start a sentence and change it halfway. That is completely natural.
That is such an important idea. Conversation is not a grammar exam.
Exactly. The goal of communication is understanding, not perfection. For example, imagine someone says, yesterday I go to market. The grammar is not perfect, but the meaning is clear. The listener understands the message. So communication is successful.
And with practice, that sentence might become, yesterday I went to the market.
Yes, improvement happens gradually. Small steps lead to big progress.
Another important idea is the speaking environment.
Yes, the environment where you practice matters a lot. If learners never use English in real conversations, their speaking ability grows slowly. But when they create opportunities to speak, confidence grows faster.
For example, speaking with friends, joining language exchange groups, or practicing with online communities.
Even speaking to yourself can help.
Yes, speaking alone is actually very powerful practice. Many learners describe their daily activities in English, for example, now I'm making coffee, now I'm walking to the store.
These small sentences train your brain to think in English. And when your brain starts thinking in English, speaking becomes easier because translation becomes smaller.
That moment is very important in language learning.
Yes, it is the moment when English begins to feel natural.
Let me ask you something, Lily. Do you remember the moment when speaking a new language started to feel easier?
Yes, I do.
What changed?
I stopped worrying about sounding perfect.
That must have felt freeing.
It really was. Instead of focusing on perfect grammar, I focused on sharing ideas. Communication became more important than perfection.
And that probably made your sentences feel more natural.
Exactly, because I felt more relaxed, and relaxation helps language flow.
That is such an important lesson. Speaking confidence grows when pressure becomes smaller.
Yes, and learners must give themselves permission to make mistakes, because mistakes are part of progress.
So if you are listening right now and thinking, I understand English but I can't speak, please remember something important. Your speaking ability is still developing, and development takes practice.
Consistent practice, gentle practice, and patient practice.
Speaking of practice, there is one simple technique that can help learners start speaking more easily.
Oh, that sounds interesting. What technique are you talking about?
I'm talking about shadowing.
That's a powerful method. Many language learners use shadowing to improve speaking rhythm and pronunciation.
Exactly. Shadowing is when you listen to English and repeat it right away, almost like you are speaking together with the audio.
Yes. When you practice shadowing, your brain learns how English sounds flow naturally. You repeat what you hear, you copy the rhythm, you copy the pronunciation, you copy the emotion.
Even if you don't understand every word perfectly, shadowing still helps because your mouth is practicing English sounds.
That connection between listening and speaking is very important. It helps your brain learn how to produce sentences faster.
Let's imagine a learner named Sophia.
Okay, that
Sophia watches English videos every day. She understands many words, but she feels shy about speaking.
situation is very common. Many learners feel the same way.
One day, Sophia decides to try shadowing.
What does she do?
She listens to a short English conversation. After hearing each sentence, she repeats it out loud.
At first, it feels slow, maybe even a little awkward. Her pronunciation is not perfect, but she continues practicing, day after day.
After a few weeks, something interesting happens.
What happens?
Her speaking becomes smoother. Words begin coming out faster, and her confidence grows.
Because her mouth becomes familiar with English sounds.
Exactly. That is the power of shadowing. It trains your brain, your ears, and your voice at the same time.
I think another helpful habit is speaking about your daily life.
Yes, daily topics are great for practice because they are simple and familiar.
For example, a learner might say, "Today I woke up early, then I made breakfast. After that, I watched an English video."
These sentences are simple, but they help your brain organize English naturally.
And remember, the goal is not to sound perfect. The goal is to practice expressing ideas.
Many learners wait too long before they start speaking. They think they must learn more vocabulary first or study more grammar.
But speaking itself is a form of learning. When you speak, your brain practices building sentences.
Each conversation strengthens that skill.
I remember meeting a learner who said something interesting.
What did they say that
They said, "I'm waiting until my English is better before I speak."
sounds logical, but it can actually slow progress?
Exactly, because speaking is what helps English become better.
It's similar to learning how to swim. Reading about swimming can help. Watching videos about swimming can help.
But eventually, you must enter the water. That is when real learning begins.
Speaking English works the same way. You must enter the conversation.
Even if your sentences are small, even if your grammar is not perfect, communication grows through experience.
Let me ask you something, Lily. What advice would you give to someone who feels too nervous to start speaking?
I would tell them to start with very small steps. Small steps feel less scary.
That sounds very practical. What could be the first step?
One good first step is reading English sentences out loud. When you read out loud, your voice becomes comfortable producing English sounds.
That makes sense. What comes after that?
Then learners can practice shadowing short conversations, just like the conversation we are having now.
And after that?
After that, they can begin speaking simple sentences about their daily life.
That sounds very manageable.
Yes, over time, these small habits build confidence.
Confidence grows quietly, almost like a plant growing slowly.
Exactly. At first, the plant is very small, but with sunlight and water, it becomes stronger. Speaking ability grows the same way, with practice, with patience, and with time.
I think many learners forget to celebrate small progress.
That's very true. They focus only on what they cannot do, instead of noticing what they can do.
For example, speaking your first full sentence in English is progress.
Asking a question in English is progress.
Having a short conversation is progress.
Every step moves you forward. Language learning is a journey, and every journey begins with small steps.
So Lily, after everything we talked about today, what is the most important message for our listeners?
I think the most important message is this: If you feel like you cannot speak English right now, it does not mean you will never be able to speak. It simply means you are still learning.
That is a very powerful idea because many learners believe that something is wrong with them.
Yes, but nothing is wrong. Learning a language takes time, it takes patience, and it takes practice.
In every small step matters. Even speaking one simple sentence is progress.
Exactly. When you say something like, I am learning English, that is not a small thing. That is a big step forward.
I think many learners compare themselves to others.
Yes, and that can be discouraging. But everyone's journey is different. Some people learn faster, some people learn slower. But what matters is that you keep going. Even 10 minutes of speaking practice every day can create big results over time. Confidence comes after action, after practice, after trying, after making mistakes.
So if you are waiting to feel confident before you speak, you might be waiting forever.
Instead, start now. Start small, start simple, but start.
Because your voice matters.
Yes, your ideas matter, and you deserve to express yourself in English.
Before we finish, let's ask our listeners something.
Good idea. Here's a question for you. What is the biggest challenge when you try to speak English? Is it fear? Is it vocabulary? Or is it confidence?
Write your answer in the comments. Your experience might help someone else feel less alone.
And if this episode helped you, don't forget to like the video.
Subscribe to English Talks Hub
Share it with a friend who is also learning English.
because learning together makes the journey easier.
Keep practicing.
Keep improving.
And most importantly, keep speaking English with confidence.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.